Hello, everyone. Sorry. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
We're gonna
Hello.
get started with. Oh, sorry. Let me turn off my Zoom. Uh, Zoom audience as well. If you could mute, that would be great. We'll get started with a tutorial on qBraid. Who was here last year by any chance? Who did our tutorial last year by any chance? Okay, we have one lucky winner who will see very similar slides today. Not like we weren't prepared for this. We were just prepared last year for this. So yeah, okay. How many of you guys use qBraid by any chance for your work or for any of your notebooks? Running quantum jobs by any chance? Okay, I think I see one hand. That's awesome. So today we're going to be kind of supporting a bunch of challenges over this weekend, which includes Amazon Broadcat, Moody's, IonQ, as well as qERA and IBM, and maybe one more off the top of my head. So you'll be able to access devices on qBraid, as well as get some access to GPUs now as well. So we will be providing credits and everything, and today's tutorial will just get you started on how to use it as well. Akash, do you want to introduce yourself, by the way? Sorry.
Hello. I'm Akash. I'm with qBraid as a cloud architect. So we are trying to build this software out, and that we face a lot of scaling issues and keeping it up for a longer time. So I'm helping in all those aspects of it. Yeah, nice to see you guys here. Hello.
Cool. So today's agenda, and I think we're pretty late, so I'll try and go quickly, is we'll do a quick overview, just kind of run through how we'll do the getting access portion, and then discuss the environment manager, kernels, GPUs, quantum jobs, and maybe the SDK if we have time. So what's the time that we have, by the way? Okay. Sounds good. All right, so you guys have maybe seen this before. If you were to work on quantum computing, it takes a lot of work just to get started. It's not just the courses you take, but also just getting your computer set up. Just getting your computer set up could mean installing Python, Conda, figuring out what the heck Python environments are, getting Jupyter, understanding what iQuHACK is, and then finally maybe installing quantum packages, only to realize that you have the wrong Python version. Yes, we've all been there. And this is what qBraid sets out to achieve, is a better experience where you can just choose one device and language, create algorithms and circuits, and then test on a simulator device, and then get your results. So we're here to kind of take care of all of this classical stack for you, so you can focus just on the quantum side. This has been pretty helpful for those in hackathons in particular, because the last thing you want to do when you have 24 hours is spend even a tenth of it on just setting your computer up or setting your team up just to run devices. So qBraid makes everything automated on the classical side, and then we also have some neat features for the quantum side as well. Okay, so what you're going to see in today's demo is a bunch of environments, and these are Python environments that we've hosted on the cloud for you that you can code with our tricked out Jupyter lab. How many of you guys prefer Jupyter lab over Jupyter notebooks? Okay, a few. I see a concentration here. That's awesome. Okay, so for this audience, you guys will be already familiar with Jupyter lab, and it's got like an IDE plus a notebook, so you'll be able to code in it for your challenges. Okay, so we offer these environments across the board over most of the major packages, as well as some of them that you don't see here, and some of them that I personally know are very hard to install, like TensorFlow Quantum. How many of you guys have ever used it recently? Okay, cool. So you may know that there's no existing distribution for it after 3.10, and that's actually one of the things that we offer. So you can just install the environment and start using it. you have anything to add?
No, that's
Okay. And then you'll be able to use the devices that you see on the right as well. Okay. So we've kind of covered a bunch of hackathons. How many of you guys have been to like qCHACK? That's a little bit of an old one. NYUAD, they do one in Abu Dhabi. Okay, maybe not, but try and expand your horizons. There's amazing events all over the world, and qBraid is at them as well. So we've seen people win a bunch of hackathons from qHACK to iQuHACK, all using our platform. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick demo here, and feel free to follow along. This is our main page here. So you see here, once you create your account, which is free, you'll be taken to this page. And you have a suite of essentially 5 tabs for you to choose, and then our documentations link. For our purposes, you'll see your quantum jobs here. You'll also see them on your Jupyter Lab. And what's most exciting for me personally is that every year we're providing a nice page for you guys to see your challenges, as well as to launch these challenges on your qBraid Lab. If some of you recall last year, we did a quote unquote auto grading feature. Quote unquote auto grading feature. It was not as robust as what we offer this time. This time we actually have a real auto grading feature. It will real-time update, and that is the IonQ challenge. So for those of you who are participating in that, I think this is for the online audience. Please be super excited. It's going to be a pretty sweet interface and a nice challenge. For everybody else that's using qBraid, later on tonight, once the challenges are released, you'll see 4 links down here to the GitHub repository and a Launch on qBraid button. What the Launch on qBraid button does is it allows you to clone the entire repository into your qBraid Lab. That's a very powerful feature as well. Anything else? Cool. Okay. So what you do is you click on Launch Lab. This allows you to launch just like an EC2 instance of sorts, a server that you can run. And what you'll see here is that in this server, you'll be able to run various notebooks and install various environments as well. For each of your challenges, you already have instructions on which environments you'll have to use. So for example, if you're using Cura, you might be using Blockade Python. So all you have to do is click on the top right and then click on the install button, and it'll begin installing. Once that's there, you're ready to code using Blockade. When it comes to running with devices, most of the environments have a feature that allows you to run the devices as well. So let me show you that. We have tutorials as well. And one of them is the Amazon Brockhead example that we at qBraid love, because it allows you to access these quantum devices very quickly without any issues. So first, I'm going to change this to the default environment. And how many of you guys have actually ran quantum jobs before and set it up from your start? Okay, we see a cluster over there. So what's like your first step in that? Like, yeah. Like, what do you go to AWS and create an account, or what's like your?
We went to Azure.
Okay.
We set up an account, got credits. Then through Azure, we were able to submit a Jupyter notebook. So it involved like going through, getting one step in through Azure, getting one step in through the credit for the provider, and then having to write the notebook for that.
Okay, great. So what the guy in the corner, top left corner said was essentially for the Zoom audience, you have to go on Azure, sign up, create an account, set up your IAM roles, and do a lot of complicated things. But on qBraid, as soon as you have this notebook, you're kind of ready to code as long as you know how to code in Amazon Brockhead. So you can just import, run your statements, and essentially you'll be able to start running quantum jobs, query various devices that are available, and it's super easy for you to see which devices are available for you as well. So right now we have Aquila and IonQ Harmony, as well as some of the simulators that Amazon offers. on qBraid. So let's make a quick bell circuit, run it on our local sim. And I'm going to check that this is on the state vector simulator, which is available 24/7. So, okay, I got my results back. I see that all my devices have a nice gate set. I'm going to use a state vector simulator. And I'm just going to run one shot. And it's as easy as that. So on qBraid, it's no setup. You're just there. You install your environment. You may need to add jobs to certain environments, which will be specified in our documentation. But this is what we offer, and this is what we hope that you guys will take advantage of during this hackathon with credits that we will be running, working alongside the iQuHACK team to provide to each of your accounts. So we highly recommend for you to make sure to create an account beforehand, sometime around today. And we will add you to organizations on our organizational role feature that we have on qBraid for each of your challenges and provide you the exact amount of credits that you'll need. All right. Any questions? Any questions? Okay. So yeah, this is pretty simple. You know, on qBraid, this is kind of what we offer. Looks like my jobs just got finished. So I can see that I have another job here that's been initialized. And I will get the results back, hopefully. And there you go. So that's as easy as it is on qBraid. And it doesn't get any easier than that. Just make sure that you're going to spend your credits wisely. And if you're using, in any of your challenges, they specify a GPU, you'll be able to select it from this compute manager that you see on the top left. This is a new feature on qBraid. When you click on it, you will see that you have options for GPUs as well. So you have options for GPUs as well. And just double check if you're going to run, for example, a hybrid algorithm, just double check that you have enough credits ran as well. Anything to add?
No, basically you can check, might be able to check your credits and other aspect to it, but a very good track to have is not control the number of shots that you're hitting or making a device call for. People just put 1,000 shots and then you're down $62 or $70 for one particular run. So might as well just before submitting a job, check that. Otherwise it will be just, you lose out on the credits. Okay, that's it.
Yeah, that's a great point. So one more thing is GPUs are on a on-demand basis and they may or may not provision all the time. So just let us know if you're having trouble with provisioning these GPUs and double check that you have all your credits added in. This is still something that we're working on improving the UI. But if you were to say provision a GPU with no credits, you will be kicked off immediately and your server will crash. So, and what I mean by server will crash is your server will just stop. Your work will be saved. So just double check and be careful before you do that and you have enough credits on using GPUs. We'll make sure to provision enough GPUs for this event, but just let us know if you have any issues as well. Other than that, maybe one thing I should plug is we're one of the main and only providers outside of Intel themselves for the Intel Quantum SDK. And we'd love for you guys to try and maybe incorporate it into your challenges if it seems like a good fit. I think that's something that would be really cool. That's about it. Yes, and then, okay, great, thanks. So when you go in and add an environment, so it's my blockade Python has been added correctly. I'm going to add this kernel. Do you want to talk about this?
Yeah.
Okay. I can say started here. Okay, there you go.
Okay, so let's think of a case where you want to do something with a particular environment. So either you go about setting up AWS bracket or some TensorFlow or some other aspect of it, or you can then test out whether things work with the other, or there's some dependency clause and you don't want to solve the dev dependencies and everything. So what would you do is like first ahead, don't reinvent the wheel, find it already, it's already there. So there's a lot of environments already given there and your permissions will be added for it. So go ahead and choose some of them and check which one works. So for example, we have the Moody's one and some, like let's example for now we take Circ. We can see the number of packages in Circ and which all dependencies and everything is there. So you can go about and use that and then append to it. So you have the base setup done, which is being guaranteed by us that this will work on the very large subsets of it, and you don't have to set up the environments for it. You can go about install it at one go just by the click of it.
It's just a little slow.
And you can see that it's gonna start installing. And by the time it's installed, you can add the aspect of it. For example, if you are starting a new Python notebook, you can start with like bracket Python, or like you can add the kernel there. So let me start with bracket here or blockade as per your liking. So I'll start a notebook. You can start up the whole system. And then by that, you'll be able to retrieve anything and write your own code as per it. There are some set of examples on different aspects of it. So this will be copied over for each of your accounts, so that there are bracket tutorials, IBM, Google, and iQuHACK last year also some of the tutorials are there. So you can go about, take that as the base setup if you're a newbie in quantum and you don't want to go through finding about just ChatGPT things about it. So might as well try something that's already been tested, and you'll have a very good solid ground to move ahead and go and test things out. So we can see the environment is installed. Could not be installed, but because let's try. Yeah. So let's try it. Might be. We can do bracket. And the second aspect of the environments are, after you've installed these environments, you need to add and remove the kernel. So which you can see here, the kernels are, if you have used the Jupyter Hub framework or the lab framework or the notebooks, you see there's a lot of kernels, and you select this right kernel so that you can use the environment. So that's just a added thing which is being implemented by everyone in the world. So we are also doing that, and it just gives you an extra functionality also. And that's something which you like to add. So if you do this add or remove kernel, you can do the bracket one or the blockade one, and then go ahead with select it. That has been selected, and then you can go ahead and now actually test things out on your own. That's it. Go ahead.
Cool, yeah. So what you'd be able to do is never pip install some of the base packages in as well. So that is basically our tutorial for today. Does anyone have any questions from the Zoom audience or from the in-person audience?
Credits are allocated for everybody or just a certain number of team members?
Yes, so credits will be allocated to specifically per person. And the reason why we're doing this a little differently from last year, where we just kind of gave a blanketed amount, is because the amount of credits for each challenge varies differently. We also want to make sure that people don't just apply for all three of the credits and get more than they actually have, and you have an unfair advantage. So we will essentially distribute it on our end, and then you should have all of your credits, provided that you've created your account as well. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, so I think you should be trying your very hardest to work within the confines of your credits. We've thought about this. Every challenge has been tested to make sure that it's more than enough credits for you to get through. Worst case, what would happen is we have features to transfer credits as well. So we would pull from your teams. Oftentimes what we see is actually, it's not like everyone's running quantum jobs. It's usually like one person's running quantum jobs and another person's doing some other aspect of the challenge. So you can also pool or discuss like what's the best strategy there as well. Yeah.
And the worst case, you always have a credit card with you. So
Yeah.
What kind of transfer credit?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So we will kind of manage that as well on a case-by-case basis. We would hope that not everyone is just like kind of message discussing that. You'll see that you'll be invited to an organization, and on that then on the qBraid page that I can show you. Okay, so you'll be essentially added to an organization here. And then we'll be kind of managing so and so forth. Yeah. Just message on the qBraid channel if you need to discuss something like that. But we would prefer that you guys don't do that. Like we've thought this all through, like you have enough on your own to get through an entire challenge with all the credits you're provided. Oh yes, sorry. Yes.
My first time.
Sweet.
So the quantum circuit, basically, you optimize and design it with the classic platform, and then you get the quantum.
Can you mute yourself? Sorry. Okay. Could you repeat your question? Sorry. Yeah.
This is my first time working with this.
Yeah.
So what's the biggest avoidable headache that you've experienced with qBraid that we could have potentially avoid? Is there any best practices that you
Okay, yeah. So best practice wise, I think one of the it's like when you drop your minus signs is how I like to describe it. But a lot of people will come and be like, hey, my kernel isn't installing, or I thought I thought this was supposed to have blockade in it. And oftentimes their kernel is still on like the default one or something like that. So that's something that you should probably be careful. Like does sometimes we're still debating, and we'd love to get your guys' feedback on like how should we, kind of provide a better interface for activating kernels and then like selecting a kernel for a notebook. So that's one thing. And then just double check that when you are running jobs that you're keeping track of all of your job IDs as well. So if you're running like, 10 jobs, make sure you like print it out into your notebook or into some kind of like list. So then you're aware of like what job is related to what circuit you ran. Yeah.
What are the different kernels do? Is that like just change like which like libraries you have access to?
Yeah, so that's a great question. We actually have a Julia kernel, a C++ kernel, and a Python kernel. And so these are all kind of offered, and you can also create your own as well. You can create and share environments with others. So it really depends. I think one of the more powerful ones end up in like the high compute resources, like classical compute, like the ones that require qQuantum. So, I don't know if any of you guys have used qQuantum, but it's a beast to set up. So those environments are all available in one click. So if you're using a V100, for example, a NVIDIA V100, you kind of avoid all the like installs and setup that you would normally have to go through. Did I answer your question?
Sort of, yeah. I guess I'm just like wondering, like when you switch to like default to like blocking, let's say, like
Yeah.
how does, like that change?
Yeah. So the default one has like your major quantum software packages that are at their latest version, and they're always kept at their latest version. So it's like Qiskit, Brockhat, Cirq, the like. However, it's like not all of them. If we were to adopt a strategy of putting all the quantum software packages in default, we would run into dependencies all the time, dependency issues all the time. So that's why we separate it out to each person's use case. Yeah.
And also you can make your own environment and then use it later on as per your liking, or you don't want to change the versioning of it. So
Yeah.
that option is always there. Nice try.
Yeah. So on top of that, like we often see users use the GUI to install. So, you can install NumPy. Okay, it's already installed here. So let me do something that often is not installed. So Seaborn, you can install it into this. Oh, this is not an install. Here, click here. Seaborn. So you can just click on it and then install it. And then you'll also see this show up here as well in the install procedure. In addition, we also have like an installing package here, and you can also use our CLI, which allows you to list them and treat them almost like Conda environments. So you'll be able to activate jobs on these and also set up various kernels as Conda environments, and you can treat them as Conda environments. So env activate AWS Brockhat. Oh, okay. So my install was complete. Page. qBraid. Um, Okay, so this is now I have the Amazon Brocket environment ready. So if I call which Python, you'll see that it's pointing to the AWS Brocket Python environment, which means that if I also check Seaborn, which was just installed and I was notified of that, you can manipulate it from here as well. So I can do pip show Seaborn. And you actually know where it is and it's all installed. So this is kind of where, if you are more of a software dev, you have like your terminal. If you are more, prefer GUI, we have both of those available as well. Any other questions? Yes. So the are you asking like if the credits are so if your job is in the queue and it hasn't executed, your money comes back to you. Yeah. Or your credits come back to you.
You can cancel the job from here. Go
Yes.
ahead. You can, as soon as the job is there, you can see it will be a status of cancel
Yeah.
selected.
So you can cancel it or
as
just
long
delete the
as
job.
pending.
Choose your selector.
As long as it is pending, you can cancel the job and the money will be back.
Yeah. I would recommend to just before Sunday morning. I think that's another thing. When you're doing these challenges, like we're going to have windows in which these devices are available. And you want to get at least something ran because if you are stuck in the queue and you don't get results by the time you present, that would suck. So try and get that in as soon as you can or stagger it as much as possible. You should be able to see the queues as well for each of these. So you should be able to see the number of pending jobs from each of these devices. Yeah. Another thing we'd like to talk about is code snippets. So we have like a way to create code snippets, use ChatGPT to generate as well, and essentially share this with a lot of people. One of my favorite ones is just kind of like getting the Amazon Brocket device code. So let's see where that is. So, you can actually get some of these import statements that you may need and then insert them into a notebook as well if it's needed or share them too. So yeah, there you go. Well, that is a markdown file that I can see here. There you go. So it's as easy as that. So I recommend kind of taking a look at the code snippets, making some of your own as well. Any other questions? All right. Otherwise, happy hacking. Kanav, our CEO and co-founder, will be there as well. Ask him any questions. He's very free. Or he's very busy. He's a very busy guy, but like definitely take some time with him. He has a lot of insights into the quantum industry as well as just being an expert in it. And then myself and Akash will be there helping out with any bug supports as well. So have fun. This is going to be great. I'm very excited for this year.
Looking forward to it. See you guys. Thank you. Online questions.
Yeah, online questions.
Yeah, sorry, I missed a like ending portion of this webinar, but will we be given access to credits through the account online?
Yes, we
like
will
through the
give you
Slack?
access to credits online. Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions? Valenzuela CR. What's up? Is there any Slack or something? Yes, there's a Slack channel for qBraid for you to. Yeah, and it will also be on stream on Twitch as well.
Post in the general.
Yes. Valenzuela, do you have a question? All right. If not, I'll give you guys back your time of 20 minutes? 20 minutes? Yeah.
Or less.
Oh, we will invite you to the organization, so we'll figure that out. Yep. Okay. Bye. Great. Bye, guys.
See you guys. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.